but it hurts so good. Do you take it? Do you break it off when it hurts? But it hurts so good. Can you say it? Can you say it? Can you let me know?
Hello, today I'm giving you guys a tutorial on how I shade. In my tutorial I use Procreate, but these tips will still apply to any digital art platform. Please keep in mind this is simply how I myself shade and render and is not a professional tutorial. Please also keep in mind that these tips are to help you, not for you to copy off of. I encourage you to make your own unique artworks while still keeping these tips in mind if you think they are helpful. I will be using a commission I made for Chelsea Sithick. Please do not use or copy their character or use or copy my art style. Anyways, let's begin. As you can see, I already finished the flat coloring but haven't shaded anything yet. Flat colors just mean that it's all colored in but has no shading, like you see here. I'll be shading using a blue or purple color for this piece. Never take a color and just make it darker. It looks way better when you shade with another color. I'll put some images I found on Pinterest that show you how shading with other colors can improve your artwork. Feel free to pause, screenshot, and use these since I found them on Pinterest and they've been really helpful. Again, I just want to emphasize that you should never shade with black, white, or gray, unless the drawing is in black and white. Anyways, I'm starting with the shading here, and I'm using light blue. Doesn't blue look so much better than gray? I'm fully filling in the legs and the back with the shading color since they are being blocked by the front legs. Next, I'm just going through each color and adding shading where I think it would be, like unfolds, fur, underneath something, etc. I'm still using that blue or purple shading. Try not to switch the color you use to shade, or it will look weird. I'm going through with soft brush 1 regular, airbrush, and just adding shading in darker or lighter areas. Anyways, I continue doing these 2 steps for the entire thing. It's really simple. Just adding shading underneath things and airbrush, shading in the especially light or dark areas. I'm using the brush syrup for most things and airbrush 1 for the airbrush. If you don't have Procreate, syrup is just a typical weighted linear brush and light airbrush 1 is what it sounds like. Adding more colors and shading. Here's a tip for choosing a color for shading. Never color pick and then just go darker. That counts as shading with black and it doesn't look good. You can try making an L shape in the palette. Color pick your main color, go down, then go right. And then if you want it to look even better, I suggest moving the color bar slightly to the left or right depending on what color you're using. After the main shading is done, create a new layer that is right below the linear layer. I am putting mine as a clipping mask because which goes over all the other colors. However, if you didn't make your art like that, then don't do this step. Layers are their own thing and I'm not going to explain how to use them in this video. Finally, I am turning the layer into an overlay layer. In Procreate, you just need to click the N and scroll down. I'm not sure how other art platforms do this, but I know almost all of them have this. Then set the color to white and brush back to syrup or whatever regular brush you're using. I then go along the linear and it basically creates a light area next to the linear that looks really nice. I'm not very good at explaining, but make sure to use this as lighting. Try to make all the white or light parts go in one direction where the light is facing. When putting the layer into overlay, it makes it that by drawing over a color with white, you are making the color a lighter and more vibrant color. It looks really nice. You can use it especially for glowing objects and light. I like to add white next to the linear to make it stand out more. Next, I'm adding some sparkles to the light areas to give it more texture. This is just something I do and isn't really part of the tutorial. I'm in the same layer as before and using a custom brush I made for myself. I'm creating a new overlay layer. Make sure it's an overlay below the layer I was just on, and now I'm doing additional shading and lighting with an airbrush. I'm using the same blue or purple color. In either the same or a new overlay layer, I'll be adding white highlights. I will use white and create a sort of hourglass shape that connects to pieces, fill it in, then blend it very well. I use an airbrush to blend. continuing to do this for any parts that are supposed to be shiny, especially hair or fur. Time to color the linear art. This is something that not very many people do, that can seriously affect how your art looks. There's not really any specific way I go about this, but I usually choose a dark color that goes with the art, then add highlights, or make it lighter in areas that are lighter. However, sometimes more vibrant linear art looks better, like shown in this image found on Pinterest. In a regular layer over the linear art, I'm just going to add any white highlights or small details. I'm adding white lines to separate certain parts and make them stand out more, like under legs, fur, accessories, really anything you want to stand out. Not related to the tutorial, but I'm changing the background to better match the art. I'm doing some last-minute details, additions, and touch-ups. Adding my watermark. And I'm all done. Here is the final time-lapse of just the shading part. I'm not very good at explaining things, lol, so feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I really hoped this tutorial helped. I may make another one soon for animation. Anyways, thank you for watching, and have a good day.